Everybody, I hope everybody is having an awesome time. I know I haven't been on Periscope in forever, but hopefully that your day is wonderful. Hopefully that you are having a magnificent evening. I am at the school preparing for Sunday. You always have to do things in advance, especially when it impacts the lives of others. But I just wanted to just jump on and dialogue with you. I changed my platform. Typically, I'll do it on Facebook, but I decided to share with you guys today, and hopefully that you will share with your audience, because I think that this is necessary. I think that it's an impactful. I was just sitting here thinking. I was reading earlier about this statement concerning this lady that cheated on her husband, and it kind of made me think on how to handle a cheater, because everybody, if you haven't been cheated on in your life, then this is not for you. But for those of us that have been cheated on, or is being cheated on, this is for you. So the question is that her question is, how can I deal with myself how can I deal with this guy after he's cheated on me and dogged me out and so on and so forth? So the question I have is not how should you deal with the cheater, but how do you deal with yourself? Because you have to live with yourself even in spite of the cheater being gone. You have to deal with your own emotions, your own mental capacity, your own self. And if you have to learn how to first deal with you. How are you handling your emotions? Because our emotions, typically when we're hurt, our emotions will going back and forth. How can we make this person pay for hurting us? That's where we go. How can we make this person pay? Because we want to hurt them the way that they hurt us, or we want them to feel the hurt that they've caused. And so out of impulse and out of impulsivity, out of emotions, out of our pain, we act. And we act trying to hurt them. And ultimately, we end up hurting ourselves more. Because understand this, there's no relief in hurting somebody else. It's a dangerous thing. You have to come to grips with yourself. How do you handle a cheater? It's plain and simple. You have to handle yourself. Because how you demonstrate will hurt them. How you demonstrate your pain will eventually hurt them. But you have to be able to deal with your pain by simply discussing what's your plan of action on getting past this or going through this. Because in order for you to deal with this hurt and all of these, you have to the first thing that you have to do is that you have to step outside of the situation and see it for what it is. It's something that has affected me. It's something that's been done. It's something that has I've been disrespected. I've been violated. And you have to come to grips with it's something that has already happened. It's already happened. You can't bring it back. You can't go and undo what already has been done. The only thing that you can deal with, it's what's going on at that moment. And you know what's going on at that moment? You hurt. You feeling disgusted. And the crazy thing is that we go up in our psyche, blaming ourselves for what they did. We're blaming ourselves for what they did to us, as if we had the gun put to their head to go out there and sleep with the other person. And you can't do that. You have to strip yourself of all guilt and all shame. That's the second component. Strip yourself. Don't let that go into your mind that it's because of me. If I would have been a better girlfriend, or if I would have been a better boyfriend, or if I would have did XYZ, if I would have gave him more sex, if I would have gave him more affection, if I would have did XYZ, then that would have prevented them from sleeping around with me. Maybe I wasn't good enough, or you have to get rid of all of that thinking. Because that thinking will make you either become a dummy to them, or it will make you more depressed than what you are now. It'll hurt you even more. Why? Because now you're having two things going on in your head. The first thing you have is going on the fact that they cheated. They probably cheated with somebody that's not even on your level. They probably cheated with somebody who's not even built like that, who's not even on your level, who doesn't even bring anything to the table. Because that's what typically we cheat on. We cheat on people who's less than us. We mess around. We got something good at home, but we cheat on cheat on a person with somebody less than us. And you can't go up in your mind thinking that I'm less than, or what I could have, should have did better. No. You did everything that you could do. And sometimes what you do ain't good enough, because guess what? They're still going to do it. That's the second thing. The third thing is, and this is the most important, you have to first, this supersedes everything. The first thing that you have to do is give it to God. You have to seek, you have to bury your face on the ground and pray and pray and pray. And every time you begin to think about that hurt, every time you begin to think about what's going on, you have to give it to God, talk to God, and then God will bring you will bring people, either bring people around to help you get through it, or you'll start to think more positively as it pertains to what your future holds with God. Let me give it to you again. The first thing you have to do is talk to God. You know why? Because if you talk to people, they'll exacerbate what's happening to you in your mind. They'll dramatize it. I can't believe he did that to you. I can't believe she did that to you. I knew she was going to do that to you. I knew it. I can't believe how they got over on you, or how they dogged you. And all of that's doing is going up in your mind and beating you up. Because you've gone around and you've sprinkled and you've given other people weapons to use against you, to make you feel defeated even more. So that's why you have to go to God, because hypothetically, and I recommend this book, it's by Neil Ellis. It's called The Power of Pain. Write that down. The Power of Pain. And in the book, he says this. He says, our problem is that we go to all of our friends who love us, and all they're going to do is support us, right? And sometimes people love us so much that they hurt us, right? And then he goes on to say, he said, so if I have 10 people, right, and I go to all 10 people about my problem, that is 10 times, that's 10 to the exponent. And so now, where it was just me that was beating myself up, now I have these 10 voices in my mind that's beating me down and making me feel worse than what I felt before. You can't do it. Everybody doesn't need to know your business. Everybody doesn't need to try to get up, try to help you. No, because they can't help you. Because you know why? Because they're not you. And they can't put parameters or set an atmosphere around you to make things better for you. It's only one person that can do that, and that's the Lord. Set it up. He's the only one that can get you through the process. Sometimes we have to be hurt so that we can be healed, so that we can be better and more prepared for what's to come in our life. No more feeling guilty. No more feeling shameful about what I could have, should have done. How do I deal with a cheater? I first have to deal with myself. I've known people who were so jealous that they go over the person's house, right? And they beat the girl up that he cheated on her when the girl didn't even know anything. Then I had a friend of mine who went and flattened all of her boyfriend's tires, busted his windows, and guess what happened? She got locked up. Guess how much her bail was? $50,000. Guess how much the lawyer cost? $6,000. She had to pay $6,000 for the lawyer. $30,000. Out of the $30,000, she had to pay 10% of that. So what we at? $50,000. Out of the $50,000, she had to pay 10% of that, which is $5,000. Now we're at $11,000, and now she has something on her record. And guess what? She worked for the federal government, and within 24 hours, they are alerted that she was arrested over somebody who can't help her, over somebody who wasn't even worth it. Nah. Why? What got her there? She did not deal with herself. She tried to deal with the cheater first. Yeah, and when you try to deal with the cheater, you will always come up short. Why? Because you can't control a person's behavior. It's hard enough to control our own. And she acted out of emotions. So the first thing, let me give it to you again. The first thing is that you have to pray. Lord, I'm going through this. You see it. You know it. You know what they did. And you know me. And you know what I want to do. I want to go slap them. I want to go hurt them. But God, I ask that you stop me. God, I ask that you take these thoughts away from me. God, I ask that you help me through this. Please, I stretch my hands to you because you're all I know. And I don't want to go out there. And then you just sit there. Sit there for a half hour. Sit in the chair and don't move. Because you have to rethink, or you have to think about what you're thinking about. That's how you deal with a cheater. The second thing is, you can't blame yourself. You cannot blame. Sure, the person going to say, well, you shouldn't have did that to me. You shouldn't have did that. You can't blame yourself. Strip yourself out of all the guilt, all the shame, and all of that. Because all that's going to do is make you feel like crap. It's going to and guess what that person is going to do? That person is going to manipulate you and make you feel worse. If you would have did that, and let me give you, and I don't mind sharing because I don't share. I don't mind sharing because if you hear my story, it'll make it better. So what happened was I was in a relationship, right? And that's how I got my son, right? And so I went and I told, I went had a one night stand, so on and so forth, right? And I got a son, right? And so I was honest. I was honest with it, like, look, I just had a son. I got the blood test and it's mine. And what happened was she said, you sure it's yours? I said, yeah. I said, you gonna stick around? She said, yeah. Right? And it made me feel uncomfortable the way she was acting after that. Because she started becoming a puppet. She started doing ridiculous stuff that she would never have done before. Whatever I wanted, I could have manipulated her. I'm talking about, it was unbelievable how she acted. Like she was acting as if a robot. I've never seen it like it was crazy. I mean, whatever. Like I was the king. It was just crazy. Why? Why was she doing that? Because she continued to blame herself as the reason why I cheated. Nah, it wasn't her. It was something that just happened. It was something that the opportunity presented itself for me and I act. And typically that's what happens with cheaters. It first becomes a thought and the opportunity presented itself and they can't fight the temptation. They give into the temptation and that's what happened. They go out there and they mess around. And as a result of them messing around, you know what happens? They cheat. Don't blame you. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel like it's something that you could have prevented. Don't blame yourself. Don't you feel so disgusted about yourself. Because that's the second thing we do. We go in the mirror. It's crazy. We go in the mirror and we look all sad and we find out things that are wrong with us. Yeah, that's what we do. We go in the mirror and we go and look at ourselves in disgust and find out things that are wrong with us. Maybe I'm not pretty enough. Because you know what she did? The first thing she went, and after that whole event, right? She said, well, maybe I'm not skinny enough. And she went to go see this doctor, right? And the doctor prescribed some pills called Phetermines, right? And she got so ridiculously skinny. It was ridiculously skinny. You know why she did that? Because she sought advice from somebody who loved her, quote unquote, and she took advice from an unauthorized individual, as we did. And the person said to her, well, you need to just go out here and do something that'll make you feel good. Go out here and just do whatever to make you feel good. And as a result, she went and got those pills, started getting these B12 shots, got ridiculously skinny, and became her body worse. Became worse because, you know, some people are just not meant to be skinny. Some people are just thick bone. And her body became extremely worse. And as a result, she became even more disgusted with herself. Yeah. And you and I can't do that. How do I deal with a cheater? I first have to deal with myself. The third thing, and I'm going to close with this, so we know we take it to God. The second thing is that we have to deal with ourselves first. The third thing is that we can't feel guilty about somebody else's actions. The fourth thing is that we have to understand that I'm going through this process and it's not going to this hurt is not going to go away overnight. Because when we realize that this hurt is not going away overnight, then we won't go out here and drink. We won't go out here and smoke. We know that this hurt, that I might wake up with hurt. I might go to bed with pain. I might have headaches. But after this, you always have to deal with the after this mentality. Always have to deal with after this mentality. When I got cheated on and my feelings was hurt, I had to fast. Listen to this. You got to get this. I had to fast for it was 21 days straight, right? And when I fast, I go hard. No eating, no drinking, right? I had to fast for 21 days straight, restricting myself. Because if you want to get rid of it, you have to give it to God and you have to be willing to sacrifice. So I went hard, didn't eat or drink, none of that. Eat or drink, no water, no nothing. Just straight up. Got up 5 o'clock in the morning, prayed, and I broke my fast about 7 o'clock. Go hard. I lost a couple of pounds, but I was losing weight anyway because I was so stressed and I was so disgusted and hurt. After that happened, came out my thought process. I started looking at the person differently. My actions was different. My thought process was different. Why? Because I cleansed myself and I gave everything to God. And so when a person tried to come back, no. But what we do is that we dummy down and let them come back because we think that things are going to be different when they're really selling us. They're selling their souls back to us. Baby, if you do this, I promise I'm not going to cheat and all of that. Nah. And for most cheaters, they just find a better way of doing it. It's crazy. But look, I won't hold you up long. We'll finish this. We can finish this another time. I'm working on this sermon, and meet me at 5701 Lock Raven. I'm preaching the Father's Day sermon, 21239 Baltimore, Maryland. But I think I'm gonna start doing all my talks with you guys again. I miss y'all. My name is Richard Cook. I am a certified professional life coach, not online, in class. There's a difference. Not online. I'm a certified professional life coach. You can reach out to me at Richard Cook on Twitter, Instagram, or like my Facebook page, Richard Cook, or go to my website, www.richardtcook.com. I'm not, one of the things that you have to be careful of is take advice from people who ain't never been through nothing. They're the most dangerous people. Trust me. I've learned from that. How do I handle a cheater? First, I have to handle myself and deal with myself before I can deal with anybody else. Make sure that you share it. Press those 3 buttons at the bottom. Make sure you share it. And, man, have an incredible evening. I love you, but God loves you more. Holla at me.